Have you ever felt like you've been completely hijacked by an emotion? Like anger or sadness just happens to you and you're just along for the ride? Well, today we're going to dive into some fascinating science that says you actually have way more control than you think. In fact, you might just be the architect of your entire emotional world. So let's get into how that actually works. Think about that for a second. This idea completely flips the script on everything we think we know about feelings. The idea that this super personal, raw experience, an emotion just bubbling up, is actually an illusion that our own brain creates? Wow, that's a really powerful concept, and it's the key to understanding how we can start to change things. Okay, so let's pull back the curtain on this whole illusion thing. We're going to take a look at what is really going on inside your brain when you feel something big. And really, this is the main takeaway here. You are not just a passenger on some wild emotional roller coaster. Now, it's not always going to be easy, but you have so much more influence over your feelings than you've probably ever been told. The real question is, how? How does this even work? Well, it all starts with redefining what an emotion even is. See, it's not some raw, uncontrollable reaction. A much better way to think about it is as a story. Your brain is getting all this data from your body all the time. Your heart beats faster, your stomach gets tight, and it has to make sense of it. So it constructs a narrative to explain those sensations based on what's happening around you. And that story, that's the emotion. So how on earth does your brain cook up these stories so fast? Well, it all comes down to prediction. Your brain is basically a fortune teller, and it's constantly using your past experiences to guess what's going to happen next. Let's break down how that process actually works. It's really a four-step process that happens in a flash. First, your body sends signals. Maybe your palms start to get sweaty. Second, your brain zips through its massive library of past experiences looking for a match. Third, it lands on something and makes its best guess, its story. Hey, last time this happened, I was about to give a speech and I was terrified. And boom, step 4, you experience that story as the feeling of anxiety. And this is where it gets really powerful. If your brain is using your past to predict your present, then every single new thing you experience right now becomes the raw material for future predictions. So by consciously creating different experiences today, you are literally seeding your brain with new information. You're giving it a better, more detailed past to draw from tomorrow. Now, of course, this whole system didn't evolve so we could deal with a stressful email from our boss. No, this is an ancient survival mechanism. It's our primal brain's way of keeping us safe in a world that used to be a whole lot more dangerous. Think about it. Our brains are wired to make split-second, life-or-death decisions without us having to think about it. That same jolt of adrenaline that helped our ancestors jump out of the way of a saber-tooth tiger is the exact same system that kicks in when a car lurches at you in traffic. It's amazing for survival, but in our modern lives, it can make us super reactive in situations that, well, aren't actually life-threatening. Right. So that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? If this reaction is so automatic, so deeply wired into us, how in the world can we step in before we jump to a conclusion or, say something we immediately regret? And the answer is, believe it or not, pretty simple. Though that definitely doesn't mean it's easy. It's all about introducing a pause, a moment of conscious awareness. When you start to notice the physical sensations in your body as they're happening, you create this tiny window of opportunity. And in that window, you can actually question the story your brain is automatically spinning and choose to act differently. Okay, so this isn't just about what's going on inside your own head. All of this inner work, the stories our brains tell us, it directly impacts how we show up in our most important relationships. Just think about it for a minute. We all walk into relationships with certain expectations, right? And those expectations basically act like a filter on reality. If you expect someone to be critical, you're going to be listening for criticism in everything they say. And here's the crazy part. In this weird feedback loop, we can actually end up drawing out the very behaviors from other people that we expect to see. We co-create our reality. So when we think about good communication, we almost always focus on speaking, right? Finding just the right words to say what we mean. But what if the most powerful tool in our toolbox isn't speaking at all? Wow, that quote just hits hard, doesn't it? When you're with someone, trying to connect, and you feel completely and utterly unheard, it's one of the loneliest feelings in the world. The truth is, how well we speak almost doesn't matter if the person we're talking to isn't truly listening. Real connection depends on it.
So what does that kind of listening actually look like? Well, it's a sequence, really. 3 steps. First, just acknowledging. A simple, I hear you. It shows you're paying attention. Second, validating. This is huge. It's saying, I can see why you feel that way. You don't have to agree. You just have to see their perspective. And third, empathizing. I can understand your experience. That sequence, that's where real communication, real connection happens.
Okay, let's tie all of this together. We've talked about how emotions are really just stories, how those stories come from your brain's predictions based on the past, and how we can actually change those predictions. This all leads to a really, really empowering conclusion about our own lives. And this brings us right back to the beginning. This is the ultimate takeaway. You are not a victim of your feelings or your circumstances. You are the one holding the blueprints. You have the power, you have the tools to construct your own experience, moment by moment.
So here's your blueprint. You get to choose your experiences right now. You can seed your brain with new information so it can predict differently in the future. You can consciously choose your actions. And remember, while you might not be to blame for the wiring you started with, you are responsible for the change you want to see, simply because you're the only one who can do it.
So I want to leave you with this question. Every moment is a new choice. It's a new experience to create, a new brick to lay in the foundation of your emotional life. You are the architect. The only question left is, what are you going to build next?